coffee. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, that works. Hey. Hit a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Hit a 1 in the chat if you can hear me speak. Hit a 2 if you can hear the music. Hit a 2 if you can hear the music. Let me go ahead and get you up here. I see my sisters down here. Hey, JJ.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, thank God. I don't know what happened. I can hear the
No,
music.
though.
I can hear the music before, and but I couldn't hear anything else.
If your camera not working, it's because I'm using the live studio on my window.
Oh, you're using the live studio. Forget about it. It's no problem.
Okay. Okay, but I definitely got videos and graphics and everything set up and ready. So
Okay,
I'm gonna
perfect.
play some music. I'm gonna lower the music volume. Let us go ahead and share it out and all that stuff, and then we'll get
Okay.
it started. I'm going to
Cool.
let you lead the broadcast, okay?
What?
So
You're gonna,
listen. I got faith in you, girl. Look.
oh my God.
This how we're gonna do it, okay? Here's a few videos that I got loaded up already, okay?
This
So
is how we do it.
I've got car contracts loaded up. I've got a few project videos of mine, a ledger video that's 7 minutes. I got previews of FYRE Academy.
Wow.
So I definitely got that there, and a few like terms and like because again all this stuff was already ready. This is loaded in here. So I'll let you lead it. We'll try our best to stick between you, Money Talks, to other guests. I'll come in to reset the floor if I feel the need. Otherwise, I'm gonna just go ahead and let you run it. So let's do this. All right. I'm about to get this music popping. Where you go? Where'd she go? I see it. I see it. All right, I got you.
I'm here.
Okay, there we go. All right, let me pop this music back up. Yeah, so I like the trance and tantric music. You know, that little war feel. Let them know we coming for 'em, you know.
What title you put? What title you put? Because we got another crypto influencer on, and he has like 2,000 people there. You might have to put something, a title more controversial or something. I don't know.
But we were with it, cause I mean I don't know what they over there doing, but I feel like our graphics at least try to save the day. Let's just try to share it out the best we can. Watch out. If you could think of a better topic, let me know. I normally do blockchain and Q&A. I normally would just do that, but if you think of something like
What
crypto,
about what
yeah.
about blockchains that suck? Crypto blockchains, something like that, something controversial that brings people. People like controversy topics,
Man.
right?
Oh crap, I can't change it because we live.
I know you can.
Dang it. Oh, it's holding on that. Okay. It's all good. We're going to get there. All right, let's see. It is 10:45 here, CST in the Midwest. Today starts our broadcast with Crypto Region, FYRE Army, and our lovely Web3 and blockchain guests. Enjoy the tunes, and we will be getting started shortly. Make sure you share the broadcast from wherever you are. Press that like, and let's get it going tonight.
You got me here beating stuff.
Heck yeah. There's some ancestors coming, baby, right behind us. Come on, let's go.
This is a war cry.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey, JJ Dean Dean. So what title did you put?
One-on-one. But I put a pretty good detail, I guess, in the description.
Oh, okay. Go lay down, little boy.
I'm trying to do my best to share from the phone, and whenever you want to get started, let me know. I'll drop the music, and we can get rolling.
Yeah, I've been sharing stuff here. Let me put. You making it faster? Oh my God. You already went out. You're not going back out. Go lay down. Stop being a pain in my butt. Hey, JJ. Hey, Andua. We got 2 people, please. Tap the screen and share the live, guys. Thank you. Is that you singing? Fire. Fire.
No, that's the musician.
I don't know, because it sounds kind of like a little bit like your voice or something. Hey, Phoenix Unchained, one of my bros is here. Man.
No, so get ready. We're getting the broadcast started. You want to go ahead and
Let's
hop
get
up on the
started.
table. You got 2 spots available. We're saving one for
Let's get started.
when she gets here, and we will be going live shortly. Let's go. Hey, Wolfie, what's up?
Hey, Wolfie and Phoenix, my bros.
Hey, Ramirez. Hey, what's up, yo?
Hey, Huncho. Welcome, everybody. This is chilling time and crypto time. So share the live and tap the screen. Tap to the beat of the music. Dun, 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 dun. Honcho, what up, bro? Honcho Durrell in the house. And Bitcoin went up again, 43,371. Bitcoin in the house. Hopefully, we're not going to have Hex in the house. Right? I know. If BTC goes
As
up,
soon as we get to one more person, I'm gonna go ahead and okay, let's go ahead and get started. It's at 10:50. Yeah, that's a good time to go ahead and start.
okay. I left for Christmas. I feel like I came home to a different world. Really? Why? And by the way, Phoenix is very knowledgeable. This is one of my bros. Sadly, Wolfie doesn't have enough followers to bring him up. But Phoenix is very knowledgeable. Oh my God, no, don't kick me out. Tap the screen and share the live, guys. Tap the screen and share the live. And Phoenix is in the house. Bro, what up?
What's up?
Hey, man. Have you met my new friend, Fire?
I have not. Hello, Fire. Nice to meet you.
Phoenix, welcome.
And where did you go for Christmas, man?
So we went to Arizona to meet the grandbabies and all that, to go down there and give them all their Christmas and, love on them the way you're supposed to.
Oh, you have fun? I bet you did.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody like grandbabies, right? Oh, my
That's
gosh.
right.
That feeling is an amazing feeling.
Yep.
I melt every time I think about my grandbabies.
Well, I know I came home sick off of them, and I tell you what, the price is worth the admission, I'll tell you.
Really?
Yeah, they gave me a cold.
Oh, dang, that's the price for admission. That sucks, man.
Yeah, it's all right. Like I say, the price of going down there and just getting sick and all that was worth every bit of seeing them and just loving on them.
Hey, how you doing, Dukes, man? Another one of my friends, Script Dukes. He has an amazing NFT project. We got a lot of talented people in this app.
Oh, that's great.
Lots of talented people that and nice people, and also we have mean people, but we focus on the niceness, right? And the nice people and the good positive vibes. With Phoenix and Crypto Dukes and Fire. Fire's always on fire. Hey, Fruit Veggie for Life. It's nice seeing another lady here. Because the majority of the hey, Noah, bro, I haven't seen you in forever. We need to start Fire. Seriously. Tap the screen and share the live, guys. Peace, salam. Salam to everybody. Shalom. Paz y amor.
All right. So time we get it started.
Let's get this party started.
Now, break the ice, do something nice, and get everybody started with the crypto term. A few disclaimers before we get started today.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a financial advisor, nor
Nobody here is a financial advisor,
do
right?
your own research. And any music that you hear in the broadcast is for entertainment purposes only, and I do not own the rights of it as well. And comments and suggestions and opinions listed in this podcast may also be considered just for entertainment purposes only. Now, get it started. Also, guys, heads up, before I play a video, you might want to turn your sound down a smidge, all right? And 3, 2, 1.
Mm. Yeah, you got the music tonight. I'm glad, Noah.
It.
Yes. Coke is always better than Pepsi, man.
Could
And
you see that at all? Or I ain't see nothing. Hold on.
no, I didn't see anything. I just heard the audio. I didn't see. I all I see is the solder.
Let me figure
But
that
yeah.
out. Oh,
Okay.
I know what it is. We'll do it later. Okay, moldy yes probably is superseding pulling over it. It's probably drawing over it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our chit chats going, and then whenever we hit a little break, anything like that, reset the floor. We'll do a couple of videos. Is that
Okay.
fair?
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
All
Cool.
right. Well, let's kick it off by talking about security. How about that? Red flags in blockchain and crypto and projects. How's that work for y'all? Hit a one in the chat if you would like us to kick it off with that. Hit a two if that just won't do.
That's funny.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I got into I got into understanding what they call open coin, or they used to call it open coin, back in, I think it was 2011, 2012. I started learning about some of the more intricate details of the blockchain and crypto and all that other stuff in the first years behind that, and then I started really buying and getting into it during I'm going to say probably 2014, 2015, and then on in, and then since then I've been buying to build, so I haven't been buying to trade. I find it fascinating that there is an entire community out there that just keeps swapping one for another, because the tokens are created for a utility on the chains, on the on their own ecosystems. And I get that there's price differentials between them day by day, and there is some trading factors there. But when everybody is talking about trading or getting in or getting out, it's to me it's all about perspective. It's all about what you believe in, and the concept of just like the Bitcoin community. I have this concept or this ideal that I'm not really necessarily real okay with using the dollar. I've never been okay with it. And, to me, being on blockchain, being on crypto, that's been a way out for me to try to build, a future for myself, beyond the mechanisms of futures and currencies and securities and all that. Like it's just a way to try to get away from what I view as lies and corruption. So that's how I got started into it, and now I'm just like I said, I build projects, and I've been helping other people in projects and doing what I can, to try to build a network or a community that's bigger than myself. I have no I have no control over other people's projects, but what I do know is that the community at large will end up taking control of something that needs taken control of. The system itself is pretty terrible. I mean, just everything from the just the foundations of what creates a security. I mean, it's an awful lie, and we're not supposed to be party to that whole concept, yet we're held captive within its confines, and it's as an American, it's pretty daunting to realize that we're we're forced to use a system that doesn't have our best interest in mind. And like I said, I've been using, I guess you call them cryptocurrencies, but or crypto tokens or whatever you call them. But to me, they're not cryptos because they're not hidden. They're right there for us to use, and anybody with the skills can utilize, exactly what they're meant to do. We just have to see the forest for the trees. There's a lot of people out there doing the day trading and stuff that they can't see the forest. They don't understand what forest I'm talking about because these damn trees are in the way, and that's just kind of how I see it.
I feel that 1,000% because I mean, if they really wanted us to live better and thrive, then they definitely would have fixed the system.
Exactly.
Hey, Crypto Rican, you had any thoughts on that?
Yes, that's very, very deep, right? You're a deep bro. You're very deep, Phoenix. Yeah, I didn't know how bad things were until I got into crypto and financial system. And then I started looking at the news, started looking and connecting the dots and seeing that everything mostly was a lie. The trust that I had in cash has vanished. The trust that I had in the government has vanished. As I notice some things that are not good, right? I'm not saying that I had a great positive view of the government and financial system. As a minority, we are dismissed all the time and ignored. But as I deepened my knowledge, I found out it was horrible. And I'm trying to let everybody know that the only way that you can actually take care of your family, one of the only ways is to just get out of that system, to work around that, right? And be awake. And sadly, there's a lot of people asleep at the wheel. And that's why I'm here every day.
I feel that too. I mean, it's just two obvious truths out here. All right, you ready? I'm gonna hit you with it if you never heard it. Either you are going to live in debt and be a consumer, or be out of debt and create an economy. It's one of the two. Short as your cat sitting in a box, the American economy. But both apply.
Did I get dropped? Was anybody still here? Oh, there
Okay,
you
I'm back. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I noticed a thread, a connection between all of us. We don't see things the same as everybody else, and it's like we're talking about something different. And people are you talk to people, and it's like they have this doe-eye look. Like, what are you talking about? Like, nothing is wrong. Everything is perfect, right? And mostly nobody in my family is in the crypto space. They don't understand. People that I talk to don't understand.
go. Yeah, you're not alone there. Everybody in my family, my kids hold XRP, but they don't know anything about it. They don't, I've told them, for probably 4 years now, get them off the exchanges, and they're still holding on Coinbase, and I'm just like, oh man, if you knew what was going on there, you'd get them off right now. But they see it as a thing. They see it as a tradable item, but they don't really understand it. They don't see, what is coming, what is, what they do. They don't see any of that stuff. They just know that, they just know it's kind of a neat token. It's one of those things in the corner where you just kind of poke at it with a stick every once in a while and check in on it. At least that's the way I see, my family and my friends and people I do business with. It's a conversation starter at dinner when you're out with coworkers. You just everybody kind of like, well, go talk to go talk to that guy. He's into that crypto stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, if you guys only knew. So it's widespread as far as
Well, yeah, it's true. It's like even though they say that it's like 4 or 5% of the people in the world are in crypto, I will say that maybe some of those people that are in crypto, maybe they were forced to the system because they live in another country. But here, most people don't feel like it's necessary, although there's a horrible wealth gap. And so, again, sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better. People have to be in a desperate situation to be able to see, right? Because most people don't like change. They don't want change. They just want to stay in their comfortable place, right?
yeah, I see that they're too comfortable. I had a friend because I'm a truck driver by profession, and I had a friend whose family owned a bunch of oil wells. His they were pretty well off, and I told him dealing with his family was like dealing with a kid on a couch with a candy bar. They just don't care. Like they're too comfortable. As long as their candy bar doesn't run out, it doesn't matter what happens in the world. Things could burn to the ground, and they just don't care. And I talked to him about it because he was a friend and he was somebody I could confide in and talk to on a pretty realistic basis. But I feel that most of America is in that position where they're just too comfortable. Everybody says that they're struggling, but at the end of the day, it's about whether or not you can afford Chanel or Gucci, or if you're shopping at the Dollar Tree. I mean, it's one of the two. And I just see that you know people still aren't giving up their SUVs. You know what I mean? Everybody complains
Yeah,
about gas
man.
prices, but they keep driving.
Exactly. Like they complain, but they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people, if you're there, wherever you are, it's your fault. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
mince words because the time is ticking.
Yeah.
The time is ticking.
Yeah. I was just telling another group that I'm involved in. I was just telling them, that the what we understand as the American dollar and Americans, I think, are in the worst echo chamber possible for this, because what we understand as the American dollar is 90% bonds. Like the valuation of the dollar itself as an overall project, 90% of its value is wrapped up in bonds. If that bond market goes away, and we've seen on this the debtclock.org or whatever, on the debt clock we've seen these secret windows popping up, and everything on there is pointing to the bond market. Everything in there is talking about bonds, and reality says that if you're able to get rid of the bonds, you're going to dump 90% of the value of the dollar, and that's just one stroke of the pen. and
Oh
and
man.
that's and that's scary because now you're just moving decimals.
Obvious question it is based on what you just said. What are the bonds in America?
Oh, you get me started now. Um, okay, so I'm just going to throw this out there. It's called bondage for a reason. The
Dang.
concept of a bond starts when a child is born at the hospital. They give you all your paperwork, your birth certificate, and your social security number, and then they send in your identity to an authority in, I believe it's in New Jersey. And then they put a couple signatures on there. I think it's 3 signatures creates a bond. Once they put these 3 signatures on your bond, then your bond is traded on the open market in New York in the stock exchange. once that bond has been created and you're traded on the open market, this is where the credit system comes into place, so that we can actually evaluate each bond on its own, so that each individual bond can be evaluated according to your credit score. When you get into that level of systemic valuation, you start seeing that it's a system of bondage. It's literally, that's why they call it a bond. It's
I
meant.
want to pick it up. I'm gonna say the other hard part so he don't have to say it because you already know what I know.
Yeah,
That's
I was
why.
gonna say if you didn't say
Yeah.
it, I
Oh
was
yeah,
gonna
you
say it.
did.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Crypto Reapers podcast and us broadcast, and I'm telling you things like, oh, well, when we moved off the gold standard, we no longer had gold in our reserves. We no longer had a greenback. We transferred that over to a petrodollar, okay? And it is backed by two things: bonds and oil. Guess who the bonds are?
Yeah,
You.
yeah, facts.
And not only that, we are worth less as minorities. Is the other thing that I know that Phoenix doesn't want to say, but it's the truth.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm
Because the
trying to I'm
system,
trying to play with kid gloves, but
yeah,
yes,
because the
exactly.
system is a racist system
Yes,
that's always put us at the bottom of the barrel. And so that's another thing on top of everything else. Horrible,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, in fact, my family, and I'm going to call my ex family because it's from my ex wife's side, is where I learned a lot of the finance stuff. One of their specialties was underwriting, and in the underwriting process, they were insurance by trade, and they were from New York, but they were heavily into the underwriting side of a lot of this stuff. And one of the issues that came up for me during a lot of the holiday meals was exactly those kind of concepts about what creates the credit scores, what creates the underwriting scenarios, and a lot of it was these racist things, and you know I didn't fit into the family because I called them out, for face value. One of the most racist things I've heard of in this system is called heart health, and it's a point system that's created to establish whether or not a person is going to have longevity of life in order to pay off long-term bills. And this has got to be the most racist thing I've seen because of the way the medical establishment works it. They've already pegged, colored people for having, high heart attack risk, and therefore that heart health is one of the major contributors to a low credit score. And to me, it just, being related to people in that industry, and I'm not anymore, but man, it just smacked me in the face like with a 2x4. It was just right there for me to have a problem with, and I didn't fit in.
Man, and I know you're saying the truth because when me and my husband did the whole thing for insurance, they had to test us hard and all the bunch of stuff. And
Yeah,
logically, you end up paying more for your insurance if you have what? Health issues
that's right.
or anything pre-existing or you might not have anything, but if your family had something,
Right.
that puts you in another category.
That's
So
right.
we got the credit system, we got the health system, and just those two things alone. I mean, we're like at the end of the line, at the end of the line, at the end of the queue, right?
Well, I'm gonna say this on a legal standard. Um, I know that I'm speaking to a collective audience here. So believe me when I say I get it. But legally speaking, and I'm talking about definitions in Black's Law dictionary. According to Black's Law, if you checked the box that says you're black, it's because you have African descent. According to the university, um, according to the universities of the world, all life begins in Africa. That's all humans. So anybody who is standing and breathing is should be checking that box that says you're black, for legal reasons, not for actual lineage.
We're gonna get that fire
Oh no,
now
I understand. These are hot topics.
because we need to discuss so people can understand their money more. If they can't understand their money more as a whole, then they will never be able to have the proper information to make informed decisions. And then that way they can stop being fearful of the things that will actually help them. Because I don't care what no one says, your oppressors will never give you the tools to get yourself out of oppression. Facts.
Right.
Exactly. And not only that, the system that they have created, the government schools, brainwashing schools, right? Which is why I homeschool my kids, is basically creating more drones for their matrix. So it's like, that's why most of the people do the same thing. And I don't understand because it seems that mostly nobody questions this. You know, either you're a leader or you're a follower. You're a
Yeah.
sheep or you're a goat.
Yep.
And most people fall in the latter category. So it's like,
I think it
wake up,
also
guys.
involves our breakdown and normal scientific method, human nature, things that we have been taught that keeps us safe, right? And after this, I'm definitely going to segue into some security things, but it's the reason that we're not asking ourselves the who, what, when, where, why. We're not even doing that anymore. So because we're not doing that anymore, then we are already opening ourselves up to all types of arsenal because we are no longer wearing our shields.
That's right. You're absolutely right there.
Man, yeah. Oh my gosh, like seriously. Well, since we mentioned bonds, I want to talk more about the financial side of that before we get into security. So the question is how bonds in the US dollar are connected. And he mentioned it in the sense of what is happening underneath, what is behind the hood, right? But what mostly people know, or well, a lot of people don't know because most people are not financial literate because the government schools don't want you to be financial literate. And the college doesn't want you to be financial literate, right? The relationship between bonds and the US dollar is interconnected through various factors. Bond yields can serve as an indicator of the strength of a nation's stock market, which in turn can affect the demand for the nation's currency. For example, US bond yields gauge the performance of the US stock market, reflecting the demand for the US dollar. Additionally, the yield spread between different countries' bonds can impact the exchange rate of their currencies. A wider yield spread in favor of a certain currency can lead to an appreciation of that currency against others. Furthermore, the demand for US bonds can influence the demand for the US dollar in the foreign exchange market, what we call Forex. When foreign investors are attracted by higher returns in the US, they will increase the demand for dollars to purchase US bonds. Now, however, the sad part is that we got BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? And they don't want to use our stuff. They don't want to use the petrodollar. So they're starting to get rid of all these bonds, treasury bonds, treasury notes, and all this stuff and just dumping it. And this is going to basically fasten the collapse of the dollar because the dollar is not worth really a dollar.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say that a dollar is worth about 3 cents of what it used to be. I mean, maybe even less.
One of those cheap chains from the beauty supply, 99 cents on the neck.
Right.
I'm getting coffee ready for you guys. 1 second. Now, yesterday when we were talking, we were going over a few of those things when you were new to the financial sector and crypto space in general, even blockchain, right? When you're new to this place and you're saying to myself, are there any red flags or a guide or anything like that that can help me stay safe? Well, yes, there is. Turns out it is, actually. So I'm going to go over a few of them here today. I already went over a few yesterday. I'm going to recap those for you, and we're going to move on to the next set of information. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, make sure to tap the live, share the broadcast, and I thank you and appreciate all of your support. Now, our recap from yesterday, we talked about three main ones: celebrity endorsements, geographical risk, and transaction patterns. And we dived a little bit into the inflationary tokens and what that means, inflationary tokens in comparison to deflationary ones. Now, as we touched on those yesterday, I'm going to pick it up from not being listed on major platforms is a flag for certain conditions, okay? Ponzi schemes and a lack of team. I think that would be the best place that we can pick that up and get it going. Now, I'm going to start right here with lack of team because as I kind of left off here yesterday when we were talking about white paper versus no white paper, even if you have a simplified white paper that lists your board and not team members, I would still say that was acceptable because it has some type of credentials to it when I can go and find these people and get some type of verification. And of course, the best thing to do would be to have that in triplicate, you know. Am I able to see their Twitter and their LinkedIn or so and so? Because then that means you're that confident in what you built, you know what you did is legalized and you have nothing to hide. AKA you've doxed yourself, right? So when we see no team in comparison to these people who have gone above and beyond to do this and show that they have a team, that's where we want to say that might be a red flag. Lack of an ICO paper is not necessarily a red flag because some people are still setting up their projects to become an IDO and an ICO. Okay? But no white paper altogether, no team that you can identify, or a team that is fully inexperienced. And let's say that this team has been working on the project for a year, right? Have you seen growth from that team? Have they posted any new credentials, training, educational certificates that they've gotten? Are they signing up for different accelerators, trainings that's offered from big tech? Are they working on the partnerships with other corporations? Again, if you don't see those things, then maybe you want to go back and say, let me revisit this and ask them a little bit about a few of these things and see how they respond. And again, from there, you can kind of gauge and test the waters on how that rebuttal and that response worked, and if they were able to give you any citations and resources for that. Now, again, this is just speaking on having a lack of a team or some type of team that's backed behind a community, as in, we have a crypto, come buy it. Oh, you have no way to contact us if you have a problem. If you can't meet that basic measure before you go spend $10,000 of your money on a shady Dogecoin variant, then maybe you want to reconsider. Now, and before I move on to the next topic, I'm going to go ahead and let my guests give their opinion on that, a rebuttal, and then I will also reset the floor.
Well, I wanted to say that a lot of the times you might have a roadmap, you might have the social media back, but it's actually bots, right? Building that social media presence and not real organic. So there's always, right? And then people using bots to pump their, not only their social media, but also to pump their coins, right? So people are getting very, very tricky when it comes to technology. And so there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and we've seen it. And now, especially with the pre-stage coins in the DeFi world, where there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 10. And it basically a Ponzi scheme and stealing people's money. So that's my rebuttal there.
Well, I can tell you that what you said is very in depth and very accurate. Not a lot of tokens out there are going to have the proper KYC, and that's know your customer credentials that we're going to be looking for moving forward. There are a lot of systematic, or I should say systemic projects that do follow a pre-prescribed um, formula for getting through the KYC stuff in a traditional sense. But we're going to start seeing an expansion of a non-traditional sense within that formula, meaning that there are going to be people, um, myself included, is that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be present in this, I should say, on this world stage, that are going to be. I'm sorry, I'm searching for words here. They're going to be. They're going to be very legitimate within themselves. Their projects are going to be, um, self-sustainable, and everything's going to work out. But anytime you get into these into the crypto element of finance, you're going to start looking for these markers that you'll know is a measure of safety, and these basically exactly what you said. The white paper is kind of a big deal. It's a thing that gives the participants in that project a voice, or at least a measure within the project to say, hey, this is something I believe in, or hey, this is something I don't believe in, and for people to put their weight or put their money and their decisions behind these tokens and these projects is going to be a big deal, because as we start seeing the paradigm of national currencies lose their position on the world stage. They're still going to have a position. They're just not going to be, fully. They're not going to be the only actors on the stage. And to move forward, these token projects are going to need this measurement to be able to, for people to know which ones are worth getting into and which ones are not worth getting into. Because let me tell you, when the world starts to do what it's going to do, there is no safe space. It's all crashing at once, and it's tough because you still live in the world at the end. I mean, even if we burned everything to the ground, at the end of the day, we still live in this world, and so how do you value everything that's been devalued, and then move forward? And this is kind of the basis for these token projects, I believe, is the idea that we're all creating the solutions that we believe can help people and move the world and the economy forward, the people, specifically, because as I've said before, the system itself, it was created away from us and apart from us, but we are the measurement of that system. And so how do you dig out of that? How do you get away from it without being abusive or being punished? How do you get away from that? And these systems that we're creating and that we're talking about are definitely a possibility for for becoming a party, at the table, so to speak, like just to have a voice in your personal life and your choices, and just to be who you are. That's going to be a huge thing moving forward. And yeah, you hit it right on the nail. I mean, this knowing who you're dealing with is going to be a big deal. And I'd like to finish by saying that as the XLS protocols move onto the XRP ledger, there are 4 different points of metric that are going to be used. I can't list them off the top of my head. I'd have to dig them up to get them exact for you, but there are going to be metrics used, to measure, this exact topic, the security of who you're doing business with.
To answer your question, how do we dig ourselves out? That's the answer right there. Us. We are the responsible parties this time, guys. If we want to build Web3 and actually be the inheritors of it, as I have said so many times before, as you are the creator, you are the inventor, you are the inheritor of big tech from Silicon Valley being put down into your teeny tiny hands. We built it. And we will tell them no. Not without our permission. I don't know you. Let go of my purse. Now, to give you a super great example of how real it is about not having a white paper, right? I'm going to give you an example recently from the financial sector, okay? Adam Newman. Hashtag we work. Adam Newman was a big unicorn, okay? They had well over $1 billion or so in valuations, and when it came down to the nitty-gritty, when it came down to a simple business practice, and Citibank and everyone else told them, hey, go ahead and run us your white paper, great to make a Sears catalog instead with a bunch of infographics and cute cartoons. Back to him, and they told him, well, Adam, sorry, but you can't sit with us. Who was running $1 billion unicorn? Now tell me I'm lying, guys. Didn't this happen?
Yeah, it did. I never heard of Adam Newman, but here it is. Here's what
Yep.
Adam Newman's $1 billion residential real estate startup will compete with WeWork. That was a week ago. WeWork is bankrupt. What became of co-founder Adam Newman? Dang.
Has went through it, and he took the American economy through it as well. He took the real estate market through it with him. He took investors through it with him. He took everybody through it with him through his inexperience. And that comes back to, even if you have a team, how experienced are they? And we saw this happen in the financial market. You want another example? Or we really want to talk about Elizabeth Holmes? Do we want to talk about the greatest disappointment in this side of the century? Do we want to talk about the greatest grift, the greatest con, the greatest all of that? Because she is a person who did it too, had a high valuation, did not have simple business practices, was running immorally, improperly, unethically in dealing with healthcare and sensitive information.
Oh my God! From 4.5 billion to zero, facing charges of massive fraud from the Securities and Exchange Commission.
So, the same way that they had to cough up and fess up, the same way SBF had to be held accountable, the same way we was looking for Doquan in the daytime with a flashlight. It's the same way that these other projects will also be held accountable.
Yep, I believe there's a lot of activity going on that we're not privy to on these levels. When you start dealing with a lot of the specific cases, you're going to start seeing that there are a lot of levels that they're people are trying to work angles, and they may or may not be legitimate, and it's the security side is a huge deal. As developers, as token issuers, we need to be able to, go through the fire, so to speak. We need to be proven, and we need to be honest. And let me tell you, it's scary to issue a token, but it's definitely worth the clarity that we create as token issuers, because at the end of the day, these people who are trying to get through, to get away with something. It's worth being at this level.
When you're uninformed, uneducated, and more importantly, you are dealing with smoke and mirrors. That's why instead of smoke, let me just go ahead and bring the whole fire. You are listening to the FYRE Army podcast live at 11:35 CST. We're going to let the hostess with the mostest, Phoenix, Crypto Rican, and Jade herself grab a little bit of water, catch our breath, and we're going to come right back with some great topics. So stay tuned, listen to some tunes, and hang out. Than being lied to, being stolen from. That's wise. I want you to be informed. I want you to have the right tools. I want you to have the education. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an invite to visit our website at FYREacademy.com, where there is a bunch of free information for you if you are a newbie to the market. This owner looking for a blockchain solution, or if you're a person who wants to just start a small business by using blockchain and crypto. Everything on the website is free. I never contact you asking you for money in your DMs. If you see that, that is not me. That's just a disclaimer, okay? None of us will. Crypto Rican, Phoenix, no one up here will ever DM you and ask you for money. But if you appreciate the information you're hearing today, as always, share the broadcast, give the love, and stay tuned. Hey everybody, thank you for that 2 minute and 2 second pause as we used to do in the 80s. I'm telling my age. Now, about the major flag risk for you if you're new to crypto, right? And we left off with lack of team. Now, just to recap, geographical location, transaction patterns, tokens, and of course, a lack of team. These are some of the things you can look for and ask yourself, do I want to go mortgage my house and give them all my money? Consider these things first. And then I got a good old classic for you, right? Because, I'm a millennial. We got some Gen Xers up here, Let's do it one time for the throwback. And I'm going to say the obvious one, guys. As soon as I say it, before I go in deep with the analyses, I'm going to open up the floor and let you guys recant on all the PTSD related to Ponzi schemes.
So basically, you want us to talk about all the horrible stuff that we participated in and how we lost a bunch of money? That is not a fun topic, girl. It's not. This year was a bad year for me in that sense. I lost money, a lot of money. 2 Ponzi schemes,
I fell into a Ponzi schemes in the 90s.
Oh my God. And you know what? I said I never will participate, and then my friend got me in it, and you start seeing the money, and then suddenly it dries up, and then you're in a hole. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there because I'm kind of jaded still.
Yeah. So, wow, that's quite the topic. Yeah. One of the things that my crowd says is that, if you haven't been burned, you haven't been in crypto. The concept is that we all take risks. We're all checking and trying new things. And, the Ponzi scheme itself obviously has a definition that everybody can look up, but, the reality of it still burns every time. It sounds clinical. It sounds like something else. Oh yeah, no, I'd never get involved with one of those, but every single one of us has fallen for it at one point or another, and it is a trap. But you know, it's one of those things that when we invest wisely, we can afford to make those losses, and nobody likes to take the loss, but when you know what you're into and you understand the markets and you understand you know the way the world works, then you have the ability to try to do things in a smart manner, test the waters, stick your big toe in first before you just dive in head first. And so, we, man, yeah, we've all been burned, including me. There's been, man, there's just one that really stands out to me. I could go into the details, but basically the idea is that it looked legitimate. It had good bones to it. Everything seemed like it worked out. The KYC looked like it was all there. And then, as I get deeper and deeper into it, I started realizing that, I wasn't holding all the cards that I thought I was. And so, sometimes, losing on that level is a learning experience, and that's something we can walk away from stronger. Not that I suggest doing that for anybody, but it allows us an ability to walk away from the experience as a more knowledgeable person, as long as we just choose to learn through the process of it. And I know that's silver lining on a dark cloud, but that's the way I see those Ponzi schemes. As a developer and as somebody who is in this, looking back at my beginnings, it's scary. It is scary. But you don't make omelets without breaking a few eggs, and that's kind of the way I approached this whole thing in my career doing this. But each of us have our own appetite for risk, and if you're somebody who doesn't have that type of adventurous nature, you just have to weigh out what you're willing to endure for yourself.
And actually, I wanted to talk about the one of the biggest scams, the tax scam, right? Fire, have fire. Because I didn't lose this year only through you made it to the line. I'm glad. Ice. So I had to deal with a lot of money that I lost was scams and Ponzi scheme, blah blah blah. On top of that, I made too much money last year and I didn't pay attention. So the Uncle Sam told me, "Hey, you owe me money, a lot of money." So it's like, dang, you learn when it deals with money, you will learn really quick when it hurts, right?
Way for you to put your hand near that stove and see if you don't get burned. I bet you won't do it twice. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Sorry. Um, but yeah, that's exactly what I try to push with everybody who I deal with. There's a lot of communities out there that their main objective is, before they even invest in something, they want to know how they're going to cash out, and what that looks like, before they even move inward on the crypto or on the investment itself. And my reality is that there doesn't have to be a cash out moment. Yes, you have to spend, you know, in order for it to become real and for you um, to you know, pull enough revenue to keep yourself and your life going. You don't have to cash out all the time, and that's one of the angles that I try to work with people. There's the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's one of the things that that they put into that book, and it is that a wealthy mindset is one that when you make choices, you set yourself up to be able to control the how much money you make on one of those things. And a lot of this has to do with each of us have an education and a past, and not all of us were trained in these things. That book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, it actually highlights that to that extent, saying that and most of us, including myself, are from poor families. We all had that mindset where we're just getting along, day by day, and we're just trying to survive. We're not even trying to invest. We don't feel like we're empowered to make the investment to be better than we were. Because I'm not struggling against anybody else. I'm struggling against who I used to be, and every day is a growth pattern. As I move forward, I try to measure myself against my past. And as we look into those type of concepts where um, if we control the scenario that we're in charge of how much money we make. I mean, you know it's a live and learn concept. You get in there and you dig in, and I'm in the same shoes that Crypto Rican Queen just said. You get to a point where you're like, well, I just made too much money, and now according to the theory of the IRS, we're going to have to deal with it. But it's there's a process, and we move through it. It doesn't need to be emotional. A lot of families and a lot of people in the world, they become emotional over the whole concept of paying taxes, and it doesn't have to be. We can be mature and take one bite at a time and figure out exactly what that means, moving forward. And there's a process that we can actually file and then refile again, and we can go through these processes. But it's just a matter of financial education at that level. And each of us, not one of us has all the answers. But we can keep learning, we can keep trudging along, and we can see what comes out of it. And I think that's the best anybody can do, is to try to educate yourself on a daily. And that's just huge for each of us.
Long learner will save you in the long run, hon. I tell you what, this is why I never stop learning. And to recap, even on what he said, just to support what he said, the only person you should be comparing yourself to is who you were the day before. Not your best friend, the day before. Because that is called refinement. Okay? But it's refinement. Where? About who you were yesterday and who you are becoming tomorrow while you are here in the present. Then you on to something. Now, I will say, I found out this thing while me being an observing young millennial out here in the universe. I noticed that as I was lucky to have as many generations raise me as I did, the knowledge that was passed down for certain disclaimers, right? Meaning, only told me not to pick up a hitchhiker, right? My child becomes driving, I'm going to tell her, hey, you don't just pick up a hitchhiker. They may be trying to harm you. Because there's a learning gap when it comes to finances on what was passed down. And again, discretionary things like looking for red flags. Because Ponzi schemes was one conversation that we apparently all missed and did not pass down. And we found out during the great crypto rug of 2021 and 2022. Because what we found out is that there is a bunch of Gen Zers, Zennials, and even younger millennials that did not know what a Ponzi scheme was. Therefore, they couldn't identify it. But to help you, I'm going to let you know what a Ponzi scheme is so you can.
Yes, please, Fire, because even me, that I'm Generation X, nobody talked to me about Ponzi scheme.
They
Crazy, right?
definitely knew and was on it. Like, oh no, that might be a Ponzi. Oh no, don't that might be a See, there's a learning gap, you guys, on us even passing down these red flags to each other to make sure people are safe. So, but if you don't know what a Ponzi scheme is, you're about to find out. Don't worry. And the reason I want you to know is because just like them, just like many of people here out in DeFi and the crypto space, we've all ran across one. Now, a Ponzi scheme is a business scheme that relies on the recruitment of new investors to generate returns for early investors. In this model, just pay the older investors with the proceeds, okay, of the fresh investors and fresh crypto scammers that are coming onto the market. They take that and they give it to the older investors. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like Hicks to me.
Well, I'll tell you what it sounds like to me. It sounds like the Federal Reserve note, and we never saw it or had any contact until the boomers have been at the generation where they're at retirement, where they're not producing anymore. They're going into the retirement ages where, because they had the reason they called them boomers is because they had a baby boom. After the war, everybody came home and had children, and they had more children than there were parents, and so they had a boom of babies, and so that's the whole point. When you have the boom of babies, they create more bonds, and when they create more bonds, it puts more money in the system so that we can all have more wealth to spread around. Except they're not spreading it; they're keeping it for themselves, behind the curtain, so to speak, and trying to basically only give us what it takes to run the system on, and now they're trying to contract that system, um, because the baby boomers are not producing, doesn't produce his anymore, and they are, they're in retirement, and they're starting to die off, and the point of that is that they need new babies in order to create new bonds, and to me, exactly what you're saying with the Ponzi scheme, that's exactly what the dollar is.
And you and I are in the same mind, because look what I posted in the comment. Federal Bank is a Ponzi, and Social Security too. All the social security, the social programs are Ponzi, because people think that you put money in the Social Security and the money stays there. They're giving the money. The new people are giving the money to the old people.
Correct.
I'm going to mention the assets because it's a high amount of assets that they bought. And I mean raw minerals, okay? Let's talk about houses. Let's talk about land. They bought these things for pennies on the dollar. The average cost of a house right now is $400,000 in America. The average cost of the house that was purchased in 1945 to 1957 was $3,400 max. That was about it before it started to actually hit inflation. So when you're looking at those numbers and you're looking at the population on the planet, that don't necessarily make sense. How is it that there are 8 billion people now on the planet, but things are costing more? Shouldn't they technically be costing less? That's just the basic math. The math ain't math. And I don't know if y'all thought about it or looked at it or really considered it in life, but when you start reading and understanding the different concepts on your finances, how the bonds work, how the scams work, you are able to be safer out here in the financial sector and in the DeFi community.
I can't argue with that. That logic.
And yes, I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned that, and it's true because, again, interestingly, I've been noticing that the older you get, the easier it is to get scammed. Are you noticing all the crazy scams out there? I'm not talking about the crypto side, like older people getting scammed, their banks, their social security, all that stuff.
And yeah, I think that has to do with us not passing down or around the flags. Because if I'm not going back and calling my mama and saying, hey, it's a PayPal scam going around right now. If you see anything from me, don't click it. Call me first. Ask me first. If I don't tell my senior that, then she's not looking for it. If I don't tell my senior, hey, when you go online, these are what the new pop-ups look like. Hey, when you go on YouTube, this is what the fake AI ads look like. Because they are realistic deep fakes of your favorite celebrities who you've been looking at for 40 years on TV selling you products that you trust, then they don't know to look for it. But I definitely did things like that to be diligent because you know why? My mama told me not to pick up a hitchhiker. She passed that knowledge to me and safeguard me is the same way I pass that knowledge on to safeguard you. Make sure you put on your seatbelt when you're out here in these markets and in these crypto streets. Now, minutes left in the broadcast. I want to give this opportunity to thank my guests and give them the opportunity to hang out, close out, give us info about you, any guidance, direction, closing remarks. You are more than welcome to stay after the midnight broadcast. I'll be rocking music for a little bit. Otherwise, you are, hey, I'm blessed. Y'all came in here, y'all fed this audience. I know that they are more than nourished, okay? Now, that's what y'all call a meal ready to eat, fresh and ready for FYRE Army. Go ahead and take the floor.
Love it. Well, I want to, again, we've been talking about a lot of deep stuff, and we're ending with crypto security. And it's crucial for safeguarding your investments, digital or not, guys. So I want to give you some key steps to ensure the security of your cryptocurrency investments, especially for beginners. One is to choose a reputable exchange and wallet. Remember, once you buy something, after you've done your research, don't leave it in the exchange. 2, enable two-factor authentication for all your accounts and wallets to add an extra layer of security. 3, consider the hardware wallets. Hardware wallets with offline storage can provide added security for your crypto assets. 4, stay informed and updated. This is why we're here. Regularly evaluate and update your security measures to protect against new threats. 5, beware of public Wi-Fi. Avoid using public Wi-Fi networks when accessing your cryptocurrency accounts or bank account to prevent unauthorized access. And lastly, be skeptical of suspicious emails and links. Exercise caution with unsolicited emails, links, and attachments, and avoid sharing or reusing passwords for your crypto accounts. Hopefully, by following these steps, you can enhance the security of your cryptocurrency and bank investments and protect your digital assets from potential threats. And remember, we will never contact you first, so don't DM people that tell you to send them money. We never will ask you money. All the information of every person here is in their bio.
Man, that felt like a mic drop. I don't even know what to add to that because that was perfectly said. Um, as far as security goes, yeah, there is no replacement for good old fashioned hunches. When it just feels wrong, you might do a little bit more research. You might do a little bit more digging to find out what you're dealing with or what's going on. So But as far as security goes, you said it all. You said a mouthful, and I tell you what, I'm going to agree and just step back politely, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I heard it here first, live, fresh, ready for you from industry seasoned professionals, okay? And we're professionals because we have gone through it out to the great war known as Web3, blockchain, and crypto, and we made it back alive so we can tell you guys and train y'all to be better digital soldiers out here in these streets. Now, I'm going to give you a preview of our mobile app, and you enjoy, and I bid you adieu. Good night, prosperity, abundance, and blessings.
Hi everyone, thanks for visiting the channel and your support as well. I hope you enjoyed this new tour of our educational website, FYRE Academy, which covers topics like blockchain technology, leveraging Google products for Web3, and much more. Enjoy, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
The Midwest, we thank you for coming. We appreciate your time, and we hope that you enjoy your beautiful day.